Welcome to Fashion Show Reaction with facial recognition, where we react to fashion show videos, but with a twist. We apply facial recognition technology so that we can identify the models. For our first episode, covering menswear for the fall and winter 2026 to 27 season, we are going to react to Pharrell Williams' collection for Louis Vuitton. Are you ready? Here we go. I know Pharrell Williams has a 20-year history with Louis Vuitton, but who else was surprised to hear he was appointed as Virgil Abloh's successor 3 years ago? That is for sure. And if you told me you predicted Pharrell the pop star would be a power figure in the highest levels of fashion, I would not believe you. But here we are with Pharrell deeply entrenched in the business and continuing to bring a sophisticated streetwear vibe to Louis Vuitton. Check this belt around the neck device, as we will see a lot of that in this show. And pretty quickly we hit our first honorable mention, which I like mostly by the way the knit collar the sweater lays on top of the coat. We saw this on men's looks in Fendi Co-Ed Spring and Summer collection. We see a lot of suits in this show along with many jackets and coats. I think that current designers of both women's and menswear shine with winter looks, which is evident by how many cold weather looks we see in the spring and summer collections.
And about which you complain incessantly.
Thanks for the cameo, Sugar. I do complain about cold weather looks in summer collections, but here we get to see them shine. And Pharrell's layering of textures, patterns, and colors really does lend itself to winter looks, even faux fur. Note the trousers are flat front, and unfortunately, given the presence of a lot of sunglasses and long-brimmed caps, the computer had a bit of trouble, but not with what I picked as my best look of the show presented by New Face Nemo. With the visible undershirt and great colors on the bag and shoes, and of course gloves for winter, this not-so-streetwear look did it for me. Note the belt as necktie again here on Bilal. We humans had to help out with many identifications, but out of 70 models, we only have 2 unknowns. Let's let the computer do some work after this hand identification for buy. What do you think about the models pushing the LV wardrobes? You like this feature of the Louis Vuitton shows? Ordinarily, I would say if you're going to commit a crime, there's a good chance that dark glasses will keep you anonymous, but the software nails Ryan here. One thing I cannot figure out is the fur pieces sticking out from Malik's coat here. Is that a vest? Right after we have to help identify Geronimo, we get to our second honorable mention. If you want to show off your LV purchase, you cannot go wrong with a logo puffy jacket. Then check out these great tan and brown colors presented by Ruben, followed by an old-school double-breasted suit. And note the recurring device of a bag within the main bag. Pharrell is double bagging. Then we take our double-breasted suit to the tailor and ask him to cut the pants off. You're going to have to be young and chic to pull this off. If you don't need a puffy coat but want a logo out, here is a jacket flying your colors. Here comes the belt as necktie look again. Innovative, but given I have had 2 friends commit suicide by using belts to hang themselves, a bit unsettling. True story. Oh, here we get some knitwear to lighten the mood. And I just realized I never mentioned there's a house and the models are walking in the yard. They only had the first few walk into the house at the beginning of the show, so they are really using the house as a backdrop. Perhaps they could have had all the models start their laps with a loop through the house before hitting the lawn. You have probably noticed that this video is pretty choppy. The way they shot the original was not great for our purposes, so I did the best I could. Wait, check out the harem-style gather at the bottom of some of the trousers. Not a big fan of this, but if you're a guy who has some skills, but not much money, you could duplicate this look on some pants you already own to be on the cutting edge. Here is our second unknown model. If you know who either of the 2 unknown models are, please let us know in the comments. Given the lighting, the long brim caps are really giving the computer a beat down. Check how instead of fancy LV bag, Yudo has what look like shopping bags. Pharrell's buddy Nigo does bags like this in his collections, so I assume these are for sale pieces. And then the computer does a horrible job, and we have to bail it out for Bam Bam. Here comes something unique. Check out how the hood strings make a gather in the front on Nazar. Not a fan of the plasticky-looking fabric used in Indiana jacket, but then we slide right into our third honorable mention. Note the mixing of gray with pale green. Pharrell is really ramping up the sophistication of his use of color. Then note that Joey housed the undershirt that comes out of the top of the button-down shirt again. I really like that device. You know, I'm thinking more about Pharrell's use of the belt as a necktie like a Muhammad here and the loss of my friends. And I'm thinking that maybe Pharrell is using this to deliver a subliminal message that given the turmoil that is happening in the United States right now, we are all on edge here because things are not looking great. If so, it is only a message, folks. We will make it through, and our final honorable mention has perhaps the most disturbing use of this device. Then as we get closer to the end of the show, we switch from a lot of rich, earth colors to blacks and grays. If you're a fan of the channel, you know we are big proponents of thoughtful organization of what order looks are sent down the runway, or in this case, around the yard. Here are the gathered trousers again, and I love that the socks match the jacket. As we start the parade, let's revisit again just how mind-blowing it is that the guy who had a hit with the song Happy and many more and got a legal beat down for blurred lines is the creative director for Louis Vuitton. This is an amazing story that will go down in history as something truly memorable. Unfortunately, the computer did not identify Pharrell, but we know who he is, and future generations will talk about who he is. See you next episode.